All right. Sorry, I was jamming in the background. Hello, everybody. It is Chrissy Ferreira, the Authority Coach, coming to you live. I'm so sorry it's so blurry today. It's like dark here. I need to change my background. So I know this is a weird looking video. But anyways, it's going to work for us today. For those of you guys who are jumping on, say hello. If you're on the replay, type in hashtag replay in the comments. And let me know if this is the very first time you're catching me live. If it is, let me know. If you're an OG Chrissy fan, let me know you're an OG Chrissy fan. And let's talk about today's topic. So showing up for your audience, staying front of mind, okay? I was having a conversation. We're going to jump right into today's topic because I have another call I want to jump on right after this. But I was having a conversation with someone this morning, and we were talking about different people that like we want to collaborate with, or we were referring different people like, oh, you should go check out this person. You should collab with this person. You're right. I love having these conversations. I love, introducing my network to other people's networks and vice versa. This has been a great way that I've been able to expand my audience because I'm always looking to not only boost my own business, but other people's businesses that may or may never hire me, but they're going to refer me, or we're going to collaborate and we're going to support each other, right? Anyways, we were having a conversation and she mentioned a couple names and I mentioned a couple names, and I was telling her how horrible I am with names. Like sometimes I'll remember the first name, but last names, forget it. But I'm really bad with names. However, if there is something about you that really like stands out, that's what makes me think of you, right? And it's something that I think we kind of take for granted in the online space, is that there's got to be something about you, something about your business model, something about your brand, your name, your specific signature program, offer, process, right? Your brand identity, like your pieces, like the jewelry that you wear, the colors, whatever, your accent, whatever, right? There's got to be something about you that is memorable, right? And I think it's really important for us to figure out what is that thing? What is that thing that really helps us stand out online? And how can we keep that front of mind for people? Now, I'm going to take a step back for a second. A lot of times, for those of you guys who are not familiar with what I do, I am a marketing and launch consultant. And one of the things I like drive into my clients' brains when launching, or just when they're in between launch mode, is I need you to show up and repeat yourself constantly. And sometimes people kind of lose sight of the importance of that. Like, I feel like I've talked about this too much. People already know this. People already know this. And we forget that there's millions of other people online, and you're not the most important person in the world sometimes. I think sometimes we discredit ourselves while giving ourselves too much credit, right? And thinking, oh, people don't care, I'm talking about it too much, but also losing sight that you need to repeat yourself because people are going to forget. Okay. Now, when I was having this conversation with this woman this morning and she was referring a couple people to me, I'm like, all right. She's like, do you know this person? I'm like, let me look it up, right? And as soon as she mentioned this person's tagline, I knew exactly who she was talking about. And then she talked about somebody else and like this nickname that they've given themselves. I knew exactly who she was talking about. And this kind of brought up the reminder that you've got to repeat yourself consistently. Find that thing about you, your business, or the way your programs run, your specific process for doing things. Like, figure out that thing that like you can repeat constantly. Like, I talk about the Authority Coach, I talk about launching constantly, because when you think of me, those are the two things I want you to think about. Every program that I have has some type of like the word launch in it somehow, because that's what I want you to has the word authority in it, because I want you to think about those terms when you think of me. You may not remember Chrissy Ferreira, my name, but if someone says the Authority Coach, raise your authority, right? Those things people remember me by. And so by repeating myself constantly, I am more likely to stay front of mind. Like when someone says that, you're more likely to remember me. And this is the importance when it comes to launching or selling a new offer, is that you've got to repeat yourself constantly. Don't give yourself too much credit as far as you think you've said it enough. You probably haven't said it enough. All right. You need to say it 10 more, 20 more, 30 more times. And this is where I see my clients drop the ball, or people drop the ball before they work with me in their launches, as they talk about their offer. They think they've talked about it enough, or they kind of get sick of talking about it because they don't know how else to talk about it. And people, it's not enough for people. You're not staying front of mind. You need to stay front of mind to people. They need to see it over and over again. You guys know that marketing rule of 7. People have to see it so many times for them to buy. It's the same thing when people are like remembering who you are and paying attention to you. Sure, somebody may have went on your live, saw your live that one time, loved you, but then you never went live again for the next 3 weeks. They forgot about you until maybe one day they happened to see you, but they've already paid somebody else because they couldn't remember your name. They couldn't remember what made you stand out. You weren't talking about it enough. You weren't staying front of mind. My point is I'm giving you 2 points today. Is consistency. You've got to be consistent and repeat yourself constantly. Keep showing up. Keep saying who you are, what you do, who you serve, how to pay you. You've got to repeat yourself over and over and over again every single day, multiple times a day. Okay, that's one thing. Number 2 is find that thing that makes you stand out, that's very memorable about you. Whether it's a tagline, what you call yourself, your signature process, maybe a story that you constantly share, right? Sometimes we know people by their story. Sometimes we know people by their jewelry. Sometimes we know people by their hair color, by their background, by, you know, their tagline, like the authority coach, or just, you know, whatever. What is that thing? I want you guys to think about that. And obviously, if this is an area where you're like, I'm not sure, come join me next week. We're doing the audience hack mini mind. It's going to be 4 weeks where I'm actually going to be breaking down how do you actually stay front of mind? How do you position yourself as an authority in your industry so that way you actually can attract the right type of people for your programs? You can sell out your next launch. So think about those 2 things and feel free to share with me in the comments. Are you being consistent enough? 1. And number 2 is, what's that thing? Like, what's your it factor, right? What's that thing that makes people remember you? So that way you can stay front of mind and you don't look like a copy and paste version of someone else in your industry. Let me know in the comments and I'll chat with you guys later.